Hello, this is Tort Liability, sample cases to inform future choices. What is tort liability? It's the idea that individuals are liable for the consequences of their own actions. This could be intentional or due to negligence, not paying attention, not being where you're supposed to be. A few examples. Mitchell versus Cedar Rapids Community School District in 2013. The parents sued the school district for damages when a special education student was sexually assaulted by another student after school hours and off campus. The jury still found the school to be responsible for supervising the student, and damages were awarded to the parents. How my school would respond would be by positioning more teachers outside after school hours and encouraging students to leave campus, go home immediately following school. But to prevent the issue, students attend harassment training already at the beginning of the school year since I'm in middle school. Teachers are expected to monitor students from their assigned duty areas before and after school, and transportation should be provided for students who need assistance getting home safely. Ethically, the student acts in loco parentis until the student is returned home, so they are responsible for ensuring the safe transportation of their students. Johnson Johnson v. the District of Millard in 1998. A student was injured when two other students were being taught London Bridge. As the teacher gave instructions, they used two students as an example and a third in the middle. He was rocked violently back and forth, and when the teacher's back was turned, the students let go and he knocked his head into a bookshelf, requiring stitches. The court found the school district responsible since the teacher's back was turned. She should have given more direct instruction to the students and supervised the entire activity rather than turning her back. Reactive measures in my school might occur with the termination of the teacher. There was a similar occurrence that happened a few years ago in my building with a transition to teaching teacher, and he was asked to step down. Proactive measures would be ensuring paraeducators were present or co-teachers to increase the number of eyes watching students. Also, it's important to make expectations clear to students and to teachers that they should be monitoring students at all times, taking special care to the physical environment of the room so a student couldn't fall into a bookshelf and be injured. Ethically, teachers should ensure that there is a physically safe environment before they do anything physical in their classroom. Bratek versus Millard School District in 1979. The school district was sued for the wrongful death of a student when he was hit in the head by a golf club in gym class. There were two teachers in the room at this time. One was at the one end. One was a student teacher working specifically with another group. The student who injured or who hit the student who died had been absent before. He had not been instructed. He had not reviewed how to handle the golf club, and this did result in the death of his classmate. So the school was found liable for this. For a reaction from my school, they would most likely end the mandatory golf program through the gym class. Extra supervision may be required in more physical activities using implements such as bats or clubs. To take more proactive measures, the student teacher should have been coached on monitoring the whole class rather than focusing on one student, and that was even mentioned in the document. Also, instructions and safety measures should be repeated each time a physical activity is required. The teacher is ethically responsible for the safety of all students. Providing attention just to one group takes away from the whole, allowing accidents such as this to occur. Rollins versus Concordia Parish School Board. The school district was found to be partially responsible for the negligence monitoring students on a playground. Students were spinning too fast on a merry-go-round. A teacher told them to slow down, but then her attention was called away to another group. As she walked away, a student fell off and broke her leg. The courts did find the school to be partially responsible, but the child herself to also be partially responsible since she had not followed the direction that was verbally given. And my school's reaction to this would probably be to remove the merry-go-round or increase the number of supervisors while students were using playground equipment. Proactive measures that could have been taken beforehand would be to ensure that teachers are coached in resolving issues before moving on to another one. So the teacher should have stayed and made sure that student took care of the direction that was given first before moving on to the next step. Also increasing the number of supervisors in the area in different sections so that they don't cluster together and they're all monitoring one zone. Ethically, the school is responsible for the safety of all students responding to a safety issue with more than a verbal response before moving on. The last one is Barrett versus the Wichita Public School System in 1998. A student in mandatory football practice collapsed from the heat and he died in the hospital the next day. This is my school district, so reactions to this were to issue a coaching handbook to all coaches in the district. They discussed prevention to issued heat warnings and created policies pertaining to student safety. Proactive measures that could also be taken are monitoring the weather, making accommodations, allowing for longer breaks, and teaching staff and students the warning signs of heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Ethically, coaches instituting a mandatory practice should ensure that this does not put negative pressure on a student into pushing themselves too far in order to be allowed to play in the team. That is all I have for you. Thank you for your time.